Hi, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Wizard101 for old folks. Now, we've made it up to level 12. As I've said before, this is a very important level for your little wizard because at level 12, so many things happen. You get the ability to start doing daily quests, and the daily quests that you do um, will grant you gifts every day, whether that's gold or random gifts or tickets for the arena or even crowns. So that's very important. Another thing it allows us to do is to start gardening. Gardening is important because it's going to lead to the mega snacks that we want for our pets. Now, in order to get to a level where we can have plants that will give us the mega snacks, we need to get experience. So, what I did was picked up a couple of key lime plants from the crown shop. Now, if you'll wait, if you're a patient person, the plants and things usually will go on sale in the crown shop and you can get them cheaper then. But I picked up a couple of them, and in just a matter of a few days, because I put the things that they like around them, they grew very fast and now they're ready to harvest. So I'm already up to a level 4 on my gardening. I know I need to get, I think it's a level 12 to do what I really want to do. These are my two little key lime plants. Let's see, now that they're ready to harvest, how much experience we get from it. And if you look up here, I'm level 5 already, just getting them to this point. So we're going to harvest them out. And you can see I leveled up to a 7 with that one. And I'm almost to a level 8 with that one. So I want to go back and I want to plant them again. Now I have a little garden gnome. You can buy those from Farley in Gollum Court or at the bazaar. And I have my water mole statue. Both of these plants like, as you can see here. That will help them grow faster, and that should push us on up to a level 10 as this set matures out and I get to harvest them. At that point in time, I'm going to do a stacked garden so that we can have more plants and be able to get our mega snacks from that. We'll be deciding between two different plants to start with, either the prickly bear cactus, which will take a medium plot but give us two different types of snacks, or we'll go with the golden fruit bush, which I think is the one I'm leaning towards. It gives one snack, but it's a very good snack, and so I'll probably go that route. Either way, we need to get to working on gathering up all our supplies. Now, today what we're going to do is actually build our first stacked garden, which is really exciting because that's how we get the mega snacks to feed our pets. It's actually not very hard to do once you get all of the things gathered up that you're going to need to make your garden. So you're going to want to go to the bazaar and buy 18 crates. These are the crates. Let me show you. See them right here? I've already got them out and I've got them stacked. I've got 9 of them stacked on a low square table. That's another thing you'll want to pick up at the bazaar. If you can't find any of the low square tables at the bazaar, you can pick those up at the furniture shop in Mushu. Now, you need to be able to get into Mushu, and if you are a non-member, like my little wizard that is right here, she is a non-member. I'm trying to do some of these for non-members so that you can see how you can make things work for non-members as well as members. Regardless, you have to get into Mushu. So it will cost you crowns, of course, to buy the area if you're a non-member. Uh, if you're a low-level wizard, like this little wizard, she's only a level 13, she needs to get into Mushu, but she hasn't opened that area. So you're going to want to find someone. You can usually find some, if you don't have any friends that are already past Mushu that you can just teleport to, you'll have to find someone, go to the commons and ask people, is there anyone that can take me to Mushu? And usually you'll find someone that's willing to teleport over to Mushu and let you port to them. So that's the trick to getting into Mushu. Now, at Mushu, you'll want to buy the spells to feed the plants that you have. We are using the cornbread fruit bush today because it does give us a mega snack. So I needed to buy magic as the spell to feed this particular plant. I also went over to Crocotopia and picked up the large garden plot that I'm going to need to plant the plant that we need. That was sold there by Charlie. And I picked up one of the spells to remove bugs and pests, and that's a good spell to have later on as well. Now, ultimately, we're hoping that bosses and even the gangs in Grizzleheim are known for dropping couch potatoes, and as we get couch potatoes, we will trade those out for the cornbread fruit bush that we have now. The cornbread fruit bush you can actually buy at the bazaar for gold or from Charlie in Crocotopia. So it's a really good one to have. Of course, if you choose to go with the medium-sized plots of the prickly bear cactuses, they drop some snacks that are good for your pets as well. They're not as good as the golden wheat bread snack that's dropped by the fruit bush that we're planting, but they're still good snacks too. So you could go that route if that's the case. The only problem you're going to run into, you'll still need to get to Mushu to buy the enchanted soil for that one. Now, if you choose to do this with all pots, those are sold by Charlie in Crocotopia, and the spells that you'll need to feed them are the medium-sized spells, and you can do that as well. But we're planting a large garden, so we're going to get right to it. I've already put 9 of the crates down on the table, and they just stack right on top of it and right next to each other. We're going to put another 9 crates right on top of that to get our garden started. And they just stack right next to each other. And when you're done building your garden, my advice is to find an out-of-the-way place to just stack these boxes and keep them, because you will find over time, as you buy different houses and whatnot, and as you learn how to glitch, you'll want to use these boxes in the future. So don't get rid of your boxes after you're done with this. You're also going to want some sort of flagpole. I got a blue street lamp, something that has a pole. You see the pole there. that's going to go into the middle of our garden, and it'll help us when we do our feeding. So once you've got your boxes stacked on your table, you're going to take your wand and just click on the table itself, and you'll see it says here low square table, and you'll tell it to move, and you'll notice that the boxes move with it. This is one of your first glitches to learn. So it's really nice because it makes things line up so much easier to do it this way. And we're going to start our planting. I want to make sure I have plenty of space to put all of the plants. The red barn farm, if you have that, is even easier because it has rows set out that you can follow. But we're going to try this and just line it up the best we can. Go to your gardening tab, get your large soil, and it will plant right into the top of those boxes if you line it up correctly and you tell it to plant. And now we have our first soil. So we're going to go back to the housing button and click on your table again. And we want to move our table over, and you'll see that it moves the boxes but not the soil. We want to line it up with the other soil and place your soil on top and look real close. This gets a little tedious, but you want to make sure both of the soils are lined up and touching each other. See how they touch each other there? So that'll be just fine. We'll go ahead and we'll plant this one, and it plants again right on top of the boxes. This way our soil can be stacked. See, it's just floating there in the air, but that's okay. We can still feed it. Now I will tell you that King's Isle does not support glitched gardens. That you don't get in trouble for them by any means. I actually have talked to them about glitched gardening, and their response was, while we don't support glitched gardening, so if it messes up when you're feeding it or whatever, they will not come behind and fix anything for you. So don't expect that. But they do not penalize you for having a glitched garden either. And if you'll notice in the picture of Charlie at Crocotopia, he even has the boxes that we're using, the crates, lined up behind him, which I think is a really cute play on the idea of the glitch. Now, we've done 3 across, so what we're going to do now is actually move that table up. This time we want it up, and to line it up, we're probably going to have to see if that'll line it up. And let's see how close we got. Looks pretty good up and down. Let's make sure that our tips are touching, and yes, they're touching, so we're good right here. We're going to go ahead and plant our soil. Okay, now whether you are playing this game yourself or you have kids or grandkids that are playing, they will be very, very excited at the idea of having a garden, a glitched garden. It's very helpful. Now see, this one's not lined up at all. It's way, way off, so I need to move those boxes back. It's very helpful to have a stacked garden or a glitched garden because it's hard for me to talk and work on my placements because it gives you multiple chances to get your mega snacks, and it gives you other things that will actually benefit your wizard and allow your wizard. That's still not lined up. See, it's not in a perfect line, and you can actually jump up on those, as you can see. You just have to keep working with it until you get it lined up exactly like you want it to be lined up. But the other things that got it, yay. The other things that your glitched gardens can give you that you're not necessarily going to use on your wizard is great too, because you just sell them for gold. So this time it worked, and now I can see how to line up the others, and I just continue doing that. And once you get your pattern down, it's not as hard as you would think it would be. Just takes a little bit of patience. Then we want to move it up again. And do our next row. This is going to be the last row that we do because we want to make sure that our feeding circle does fit in around it, completely around it. Otherwise all our plants won't get fed. Another nice thing about the plants that we chose is that they require very little by way of feeding them. Their needs are little. I also picked up from the bazaar while I was there. They like something called a sandwich station, so I picked one of those up. They also like, and like means that it'll make them grow faster. If you put certain objects out, it makes your plants grow faster. So they also like a pot of soup. I did not find a pot of soup at the bazaar. It's a crafted thing. So I'm just going to have to watch the bazaar because I am not leveled up enough to start crafting yet. This is not going to line up. Let's see. Let's try that. There we go. Now, this is our last top plot of soil. Oh, I hope that lined up all right. Yes, it did. Okay. We're okay. Now, to make this easier, you want to start your second stack simply by removing the top row of boxes. So just click on it and do pick up. And then do the next one. Don't get the bottom row. By doing it while it's still right here underneath that last one, we know that it's lined up to that last soil. So we can just go ahead, pick up another large soil, and put it right down because it's perfectly lined up with that top one. And then we just go in reverse and grab the table and move it, line it up. See if we've got it lined up. Nope, it's too far back. See, it's not quite lined up. I need to move it forward a little bit so that those two little points match up. Okay, so let's move it up just a smidge. Oops. I don't know. This might be too far up. Yeah, that's way off. That's too far up. So I need to go back a little bit further from that. I went too far up. Maybe right there. Well, if I could get it to set down, it would be great. It's not letting me set it down. Okay. Did we get it this time? Oh, yay, we got it this time. See, it just takes patience, and you just continue doing this through this second whole layer. So I'm going to pause it for right now, and I'm going to go ahead and finish off the second layer, doing it just like I did the first one, simply grabbing the table and moving it until I get it into the position I want and planting the soils on top. And then I will come back and show you how to do your last layer. So y'all hang in there with me. Okay, so I've got them all done except for the last one on the second row, and I am going to line it up and put it down. And you can see all of my edges are just barely touching, and that's what you want. So now it's time to do our bottom row. Some people like to just plant the bottom row, line it up, and plant it on the ground. I personally like to just remove the boxes just like we did that top layer. So take all your boxes up. Be sure not to accidentally pick up the table, though. You don't want to pick up the table. Okay, so believe it or not, now you can plant right straight into the table. And since I didn't move the table, that means this one is already lined up with the one above it. So now I just continue as I did before, and I move my table, trying to line up each of the soils just as I did before. Need to push that back a little bit. It's a little bit harder when you're just basing it off of the table itself to get it all lined up properly, but you can still do it. You want your edges touching just like before, and you want to line it up into a line just like before. So I am going to continue planting now on my tabletop until I complete all 9 of these rows, and then I'll be right back with you. I wanted to tell you, when you get to this point where your table has to be dead center of all of the little plots, it's very hard to see. So be sure that you move around a whole lot to be able to see where to put that table. And sometimes it'll try to float on the plots themselves. It's okay, just move around again until that table drops down below onto the ground. And then it'll allow you, hopefully, once our little arrow goes green, there, oops, there it is. It'll allow you to plant at that point. Okay, and it is time for our last plot of soil. Now it uses energy every time you place a plot of soil down, so be aware of how much energy you have left up here. It's also going to cost us energy to plant our seeds. So if you don't have enough energy, you might want to be sure that you have gone over and played your Grub Guardian until you've got some extra energy to use if you want. Now we've got that all done, so let's pick up our table. And it's time to move the pole. I have a blue street light. You could get a flag pole. You don't want one of the flag poles that are have the big chunky thing at the bottom though. Now I know that that is in the middle of that plot, but don't worry about that. It won't affect anything. You want to get it as close to the middle of your garden as you can. Sometimes it helps to actually climb up on the top so that you can see where it's going to be placed down. By leaving these plots up in the air, it makes it easier to put your, there we go, perfect, to put the pole in the center of your garden, which is what we ultimately wanted, was something in the center of the garden. And now we can test out our feeding spells, growing spells. We want to find the large one, and you'll slide it until you see it going up that pole, because you're going to need to make sure that it covers all of your plots. And without that pole in the center, and it does, it covers all of it, it'll be able to feed all of the plants because it does cover all of them. And the pole is what allows it to slide up and down. When you're actually feeding your plants, you're going to slide that up and down the pole until you get just below your second layer of plants. And if you'll go just below it when you feed, it will feed all of your plants. So just find your pole. If you're not on your pole, it's going to go on the ground, see? So find the pole and you can travel all the way up and down. And to feed, you want to go right below the second layer of your plants. And then you'd click on it and that would feed it. So, okay, so now it's time to plant our seeds. Don't worry if you don't have enough seeds for every plot right off the bat. Just buy as many seeds as you have the gold to buy. I had enough gold to pick up 14. What's nice about having plants other than the aspect of the mega snacks is that you will also get gold as you harvest most of the plants. And you can also get things to sell for gold later as you get on up higher with your levels in gardening. You'll actually get spells that'll plant all your seeds for you. I believe it was the stacked gardening that had King's Isle developing the spell to plant all seeds, because in a medium garden you could have like 64 plots, and it would take a very long time to plant 64 seeds. So it was fabulous when they came out with that. Okay, so we have all our seeds planted. Now we need to make sure that they have their likes. So if you hover over the seeds themselves, it will tell you what they need, what they want, and what they like. And currently the only thing that my seeds like is this house. I have picked up, though, a garden gnome, and I know that they like the garden gnomes, and this is what's nice about having the space underneath the plots, is that you can place your likes on the ground underneath your, if you can get it to go, come on, let it go. If you can get it to go underneath there, I don't know why it's being stubborn. There. Okay, let's see if I can. There. Now I've got my little garden gnome, and I know that they like the sandwich station as well, so I picked one of those up, and I'm going to put it up underneath and out of the way as well. And now when I hover over my plants, you'll see that it likes the garden gnomes, it likes the sandwich station, and it likes the house. Now the tropical garden gnomes you can get at the bazaar, or you can get from Farley in Gollum Court, and the sandwich station I got at the bazaar. We talked about that a little earlier, I believe. The only thing I'm watching at the bazaar now for is that pot of soup, which will make them grow even faster. But as they get a little older, the next thing that you'll want to do is put a pixie on them. Unfortunately, until your level is level 10, you can't get the permanent pixie spell. That's why I said you kind of may want to wait till level 10 and just start buying the things that you'll need until you're to that point. But if not, then you can get the Summon a Friendly Pixie for 48 Hours treasure card. You can sometimes pick those up at the bazaar as well, and that will help them grow faster. What a lot of people don't know about the Pixie card is that if you have a pest or a bug on your plant, no matter what level bug it is, even if it's a level 7 or whatever, you can cast a pixie on that plant and it will kill the bug. So that's some good news for plants that you plant later on that get the higher bugs. Anyway, that's it. That's how you make a glitched stacked garden for Wizard 101. And now that we have a stacked garden going, it's going to be great because I'll be able to get mega snacks and be able to work on getting a good pet going. We just have to tend the garden now and let the snacks build up in our account so that we can work on getting a great pet to help the wizard along her way. Thanks so much for watching, guys. If you've got any questions, feel free to drop them down below. And if this video helped you, hit that thumbs up for me. Thanks so much, guys, and have a great and wonderful week. Bye.